When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle.
Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The interrupting podcast.
Boo.
Hey, you stole my thing.
Oh, sorry. The interrupting podcast what?
That was it.
Oh, I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Damn it, you said it too quickly. Take it from the top. And
hello, everyone in the podcast universe.
I'm the interrupting Kyle. Wait.
We're here to bridge the gap between sexuality
Shut up.
and actuality. And today,
we're going to talk about bears.
rawr.
Rawr. And probably do rawr noises a bunch.
We're going to talk about bears.
Topic requested by Patreon member James Barrow. Thank you.
Yeah,
James
thanks.
Barrow.
Barrow, yeah.
I think it might be Barrow. Anyway.
Yeah, our Gap Bridgers, if you are a Gap Bridger for 3 months or longer, you get to have a phone call with us and plan your own episode.
Yeah.
So Bears was the big winner this time from him. So.
Yeah. And a topic, again, like sometimes it's very useful to have someone to just be like, you need to talk about bears. And we have not. And here we go. Not right now. But do you want to do... Oh, wait. Feedback and corrections?
Yep. Feedback and corrections.
You keep fucking up the Irish.
Apparently, I legit just subconsciously hate Ireland.
You just can't see Ireland at all.
So Leinster, I was talking about the rugby player that came out, and Leinster is a province in Ireland. It's where Dublin is. It's not even Northern Ireland. It is not the United Kingdom. And now, in my defense...
Sure.
I don't know where the fuck Leinster is or why I should care. But separate from that, it was a BBC interview on peaknews.co.uk. So there was, and I reread the article. There was nothing in the article that said Ireland or Irish. Now, I made some assumptions, but it's not like I just relocated a place and did it out of malice.
You would have had to know that Leinster was in Ireland, non-UK.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, fuck off, Ireland.
Yeah.
I like the idea of us starting
a war with Ireland.
A verbal war with...
Oh, God, our own personal potato famine.
Okay. An emotional potato famine.
Also, this just in feedback and corrections sent to us via text message. Hi, friends. I've been listening to your podcast for a couple of years now. I love you guys so much and never miss an episode. I was listening to your Canada episode and heard Kyle praising Pornhub. I just wanted to let you all know that Pornhub has child pornography on their website, so it's not the greatest site to support. Thanks for all you do. Love, Jessica.
I thought they... I totally fine if they're not the right ones. I thought they recently did their big I
thought that's why they did the Purge.
But I have not seen if that's actually helped or gotten better or not. So, open to. Well, yeah, we don't support child pornography. That's a stance we're really we dislike that in Ireland.
Yeah, fuck you, Canada, for Pornhub, and fuck you, Ireland.
Oh wow, war of the worlds, indeed.
Oh man.
And Taylor Swift. Let's really ignite. That's got some feedback that I don't need to read, but very passionate feedback.
Yes.
100 words.
100 words. All right. So we've been hanging on to this one for a while.
Yeah.
And
because we're clearly very good at planning.
Yep. At a certain level of Patreon and above, you can send in 100 words, and I will read them. Mm-hmm. And I've had to read some pretty interesting things over the years. So. It is a dramatically underutilized benefit as well. So
a lot of people have access to that and have not made you say things.
So if you're paid for it, fucking use me.
Use your mouth?
Use my mouth. Here we go. Hey, fellas. Loving your podcast. My hubby likes it, too. We listen in
you're
the car
not reading the 100 words. You're reading the email that contains... okay.
Been mixing old and new episodes. Excellent developments in quality over time. Strong work.
Thank you.
My 100 words are the lyrics I wrote for 'Cause I'm a Bear, which should be sung to Julie Brown's 'Cause I'm a Blonde. Not gonna sing it.
I don't know that song.
All right. Okay, but here we go. Here are the words. Because I'm a bear, I don't have to think. I talk like a daddy and I never pay for drinks. Don't have to worry about getting a man if I keep this belly and I keep it tan. Because I'm a bear. Yeah. I see people work out. It just makes me giggle because I don't have to diet. I just have to jiggle. I'm a bear. B-E-E-H-R-E. I'm a bear. Don't you wish you were me? I first learned to breed and then I learned to cook. What else would I do when I look like I look? That's 100 words, but keep going if you want, it says. So I'm going to keep going. Okay. I first learned to breed, and then I learned to cook. What else would I do when I look like I look?
Favorite line so far.
I know lots of people are prettier than me, but I have this philosophy. Woof. Because I'm a bear. Yeah. I see people without dates, and I feel so sorry for them. Because whenever I'm around, all the cubbies ignore them. Because I'm a bear. Nya. They say that to make it, you need talent and ambition. Well, I got a chatterbait show, and this was my audition. Okay, what was it? Don't tell me. Oh, yeah, okay. Fuck, Magnum, fuck, because I'm a bear. Yeah. I took a fitness test, and I broke it, of course. I can't spell BMI, but I got some pork, because I'm a bear. B-E-H-A-R-E, because I'm a bear. Don't you wish you were me? I just want to say that being chosen as this year's Mr. International Muscle Chub Daddy Bear Cub is like a compliment that I'll remind you of every chance I get. Right now, I'm in information technology.
Oh, we seem to have gone away from the song now.
It says, but this is like, I think this is in the video. Like she goes on a tirade or a rant.
Yeah.
I just want to say that being chosen as this year's Mr. International Muscle Chub Daddy Bear Cub is like a compliment that I'll remind you of every chance I get. Right now, I'm in information technology work in my 23rd year at Apple, but my goal is to become a pro dom because I love pups. Because I'm a bear. Yeah. Because we're all bears. Yeah. Chasers think I'm rude, and maybe it's true. With my beard and body, you might be too. I'm a bear. B-E-R... I don't know. Because I'm a bear. Yeah. Because I'm a bear. Yeah. Because we're all bears. Yeah. Thank you for that.
We are all bears.
We are all bears.
In spirit.
Yeah. So what did we learn about bears from this, Kyle? I mean, I think we learned that they're big and they like to jiggle and they can't spell. That's
or they spell perfectly. So good.
Yeah, that's 100 words.
Thanks.
More like 400.
That's the 400 words.
Since nobody else has used them, we might as well give them to this guy.
Who sent it in? Or did they want to be named?
Sent from my magic mirror. That's from Sparkplug Tackle Hump. And that's fantastic. Also sent in a picture of him and his hubby with their cat. And it's hilarious because in typical cat style, the cat gives zero fucks except what's in his hand.
They could make a video about like unlikely animal friendships, like a bear and a cat.
Yeah, exactly. I support this.
Yeah. Thanks, Sparkplug Tackle Face or whatever it was.
Yeah, let's talk about our other Patreon folks.
I thought news. Don't you do that?
Oh, do I do that first?
Yep.
Here's the news.
Shut your mouth hole, it's time for your ear holes. News
the first. So, this was sent in from a listener on our Discord server. The headline, gay married couple told to separate and be celibate to keep job in church. So, the organist and church musical director Peter Sanders, who is 57, and his husband, Peter Grace, who's 61, who holds an unpaid...
Peters.
Yeah. It's Peter and Peter.
Yeah.
So one is the organist and church musical director. The other one holds an unpaid leadership role at St. Mary's Anglican Church. This is in New South Wales, Australia, in Sydney.
How sure are you of the location of this news story?
I'm certain that it is in Australia.
Okay.
I'm certain that it is in the same state as Sydney.
Okay.
I don't know if it's actually in Sydney.
Great.
So they were told that they would need to separate and be celibate and receive religious counseling or lose their jobs in the West Armadale Church. I don't know if that's a neighborhood or a city. But the congregation is rallying around the couple with members launching an online petition calling for the clergy to reinstate them in their roles, be inclusive, and reject discrimination. Some members have stopped taking communion, have stopped attending services, and have stopped raising money for the church until their demands are met that these dudes be reinstated. Quote, "This is an important issue for every Australian who has gay children or are gay themselves. We are being discriminated against by the church for being who we were born to be. It's interesting, too, because officially the Anglican Church is queer affirming. So if proven to be true, it's sort of out of character for the dogma of this particular denomination.
Yeah.
For instance, a spokesperson from the diocese said, quote, "The Anglican Church in the Armidale Diocese, like the Lord Jesus, welcomes all who choose to come to church, regardless of sexual orientation. Involvement in positions of ministry or other leadership, like in many other dioceses, is conditional upon church governance and agreeing to and complying with the Faithfulness in Service Code." And so the question is sort of like, is that backpedaling, because they also are sort of denying that it happened and in a like kind of cover your ass kind of way. At least that's my read.
And also you can have things written down as the rule, but is that are they actually, every single church could also be shitty and homophobic regardless of the letter of the law.
Yep. Yeah, the letter versus the spirit, right? There's also
the Holy Spirit.
The Morrison government has released 2 drafts of a religious discrimination bill, which aims to stop discrimination based on religious belief or activity. But there are concerns to what extent religious groups will be able to hire and fire staff based on their values, including gay employees. Attorney General Michaelia Cash is set to bring the bill to Parliament by the end of the year. It sounds very much like RFRA stuff here in the United States of like, need to protect religious rights
freedom.
To be dickbags.
Do you think Jesus loves bears?
Yes, he thinks they're delicious. I don't know.
I think he died on the cross exclusively for bears.
Maybe.
Everyone else was just a bonus.
Yeah, maybe just he was a hard gainer twink, and so he was so jealous of
gainer twink. Everyone portrays him as white and like anglicized, but he was really a hard gainer twink. That's what a lot of historians are trying to really promote and let everyone know.
Yeah,
great.
News the second?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So I don't know if you've been following this story. There is a recently passed Tennessee law that requires businesses to post a public notice if they allow trans people to use the bathrooms that match their gender identity. So if your business's policy is that trans men get to use the men's bathroom, you have to post a note saying so. Yes?
At first I thought it was a good thing, like you have to be clear about your transphobia up front for everyone, but now I'm realizing that it's to help cis people know if they want to be in the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. It's to warn cis people that they might encounter a trans person because this establishment is bad and needs to be shamed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The law is the first of its kind in the United States, and it forces businesses to post a sign on multi-person bathrooms that the facility, quote, maintains a policy of allowing the use of restrooms by either biological sex. That's the verbiage that needs to appear. It was signed into law by Republican Governor Bill Lee. It's not Billy, it's Bill Lee. In March, went into effect last month. The ACLU is suing, and they're asking the court to put a stop to this, primarily because it is compelling businesses to violate their own First Amendment rights. You are saying you have to say this?
Republicans love the First Amendment when they don't understand it correctly.
Right.
But then they try to force government to do religion on us.
Yep. Well, apparently that suit is going well, because at least so far, because a federal judge has blocked that law. U.S. District Judge Alita A. Trauger granted the preliminary injunction on Friday, the 9th of July, effectively preventing Tennessee from enforcing the law as the lawsuit works through the courts. In her ruling, she noted that the Supreme Court found that compelling individuals to, quote, mouth support for views they find objectionable violates a cardinal constitutional command unless justified by the strongest of rationales.
When they're like the Republicans generated hate of trans people has resulted in lots of people, and I've seen a lot of stories about cis people that get harassed because of the way they look. Like, you don't know if someone's trans, you just don't. And people clearly don't know any trans people or have any idea what the community's like if they think you can look at someone and know.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
like this, you have to explain to cis people why they should care, which sucks. But like, other than like human lives matter, that's not good enough for them. But like, you don't know who's trans and you can't tell. And people who look more masculine and are women or cis women are going to get harassed too.
Yep. Absolutely. It's super fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know this. Our country is fucked up, Kyle. And they mean business too, right? Like the whole point of the penalty under this Tennessee law, businesses have 30 days to post such a sign outside the entrance of each public restroom in the building or facility. And if they do not, the business owners could be subject to 6 months in jail and fines up to $500.
Wow, jail time for this.
Yeah. Anyway, hopefully that ruling holds.
Yeah.
We'll see. Giving such a hot button issue that this is, I don't know what to expect, but
eventually all of this has to bubble up to the Supreme Court. Like there are just so many state level laws that are being countered by Democrats. Challenged. Thank you.
News of the last?
Yeah.
Speaking of exactly what you were just talking about, ding dong, the cunt is dead. I'm pretty excited. So the
Ann Coulter?
No, you're close.
Oh.
We've talked about this on the show several times. The Arlene's Flowers and Gifts case here in Richland, Washington, which is the I don't want to sell flowers to faggot weddings case. And the Baronel Stutzman is the owner. God, what a cunty name. Okay. The Supreme Court on Friday declined to hear her appeal, and it therefore stands.
What stands?
That the state of Washington fining her and shutting her business down was legal.
Oh, great. Good things happen.
It is a good thing.
Okay,
it is a good thing for us. Yeah. So basically, Washington State has a non-discrimination clause now, and went after Arlene's Flowers for not selling flowers to a gay couple, and they fined the ever-living shit out of her. And she, of course, appealed it on First Amendment grounds. That was working its way through the courts, and it was not going well for her at all. And on Friday, the Supreme Court said that stands.
Yeah.
You dumb bitch.
Quote.
Yeah.
That's especially great considering the conservative Supreme Court that we have right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and 3 of the justices, and it's not surprising, said that they wanted to hear the case. That's Clarence Thomas, Sam Alito, and Neil Gorsuch. But that's not enough to make the case happen. Certiorari was not granted. I'm trying to figure out how to say that.
Wow, you just did something real fancy and douchey. I'm into it.
Thank you.
Certiorari? That's my favorite drag queen.
A writ of certiorari. That's the paper that says, yes, we will take this case. That's just anyway. It's a whole process.
Okay, I believe you. I tried so hard. I literally did not hear that sentence you said. I'm so sorry. I'm not actually that sorry, but I couldn't accept that into my ears.
Sure. Yeah, I get it. I only hear about half of what I say. So
I have to hear everything we say twice.
Yeah, you do.
It's rough.
At least twice, right?
At least twice, yeah.
It's interesting, too, that part of this case is are flowers art and is forcing somebody to make art for something that they find morally objectionable valid under First Amendment laws in the United States. And basically they said no.
Sorry, flowers, you're not art.
But also they said because the exact same floral arrangement is available as a baseline, like default, you can just get a dozen roses. And the fact that you would sell a dozen roses to straight people and a dozen roses not to gay people, it's not about the message of the quote-unquote art that you're making. It's just discrimination.
Yeah.
And so that part did not go well for her.
Great.
Fuck that bitch. I hope she's dead. That's the news.
Speaking of
Dead bitches?
No. Speaking of bitches, we want to stay alive.
Okay.
We'll sell flowers to all of these bitches. I want to thank our Patreon members, Jason Brown. Jason Brown.
Okay, great.
Disbish1.
Disbish1.
Yep.
Great.
That's the only one I want to pronounce correctly because it's great. Zachary Cochran.
Okay.
Have you checked your refrigerator because your cock is running? Dylan and Shea or Shea. Thank you. Those are one. That's one in person. That's one support of us. Thank you so much for not individually contributing and just really splitting that money up between the two of you. That's great. We like it. And 100-word song in him themselves. Sparkplug is all they wrote. I don't know the last name. Oh. You don't have to. I don't care that much. Oh, thank you. No, sorry. I care so much about you all. Thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Patreon.com/Gayish podcast.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Let me fuck up your name.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about bears?
Let's talk about bears.
So thank you again to James Barrow for suggesting this topic and having a chat with us and having us do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're excited.
We are excited. It's one of those two, like we've talked about it before a little bit in planning and stuff. There's a whole bunch of episodes that we know are the no-brainer, obvious ones that we should absolutely do and just haven't gotten around to it in 4.5 years.
Yeah. Like, we did leprechauns before we did bears.
Yeah, sure. I stand by that, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Are we in... I don't know how intentional it is. Like, are we intentionally avoiding some of the basic topics because it's, like, too easy or too hard? Like, I mean, some of them, we don't want to fuck up talking about a community that we don't consider ourselves to be a part of, which is why we have guests. I cared less about that when we first started, and I've learned to care. Yes, we have bears.
We found bears.
We found bears
in the wild.
In the wild, and
also known as the United Kingdom, but actually the UK, not fake UK, which is Ireland.
I mean, might as well go all out against them. Yes, real UK is going to be on to talk about being bears.
Yeah, from the Bareback podcast, we have Left Ben and Right Ben. They're both named Ben. Well, one of them is Ben Ha or something.
Yeah, but they both go by Ben.
Yeah. So we'll have them on later to talk about their bear experience.
Well, no, we're having them on presently.
Their experience? Oh, we're gonna have them right now?
Yeah. Hey, editing Kyle, jumping in just to let you know what to expect since it's a little different. We will have our guests on for the first half of the episode, and then the second half, Mike and I will be talking amongst ourselves, doing a few of our normal segments.
Okay, well then let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Great break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
I think we're back.
So are we back?
Yes.
Great.
We planned this very specifically, and yes. We are back. We are here with Ben and Ben from the Bareback podcast. Hi, Ben's.
Hi, guys. Hi.
How's it going? It's later for you than us because you're in a different country.
Yeah, we are dialing in from the UK in sunny Warwickshire, which is obviously where Shakespeare's from.
Yeah,
obviously. I definitely knew that.
Everyone knows that.
Yeah,
who doesn't?
Yeah. Tell us briefly a little bit about your podcast.
We're two bears with the same name. We come from different countries. Ben here to my right is British, and myself, I normally go by Benja, just because it's easier to separate when people are listening to us but not looking at us. Mm-hmm. I'm Argentinian.
Jumping into it, then it's interesting. There are so many things that separate us culturally, even between the United States and the UK. But there's got to be some commonalities also, right? Like, what are the sort of the bear stereotypes or the bear
tropes,
characteristics that transcend nationality?
We like big guys and we cannot lie. The thing is, I'm South American. I'm a bear, so I like big butts.
You do like a big butt, don't you?
I do like a big butt.
Yeah.
That's my thing. No, but I think as well that in terms of the way that we navigate the gay world is fairly similar, although Ben isn't necessarily someone who's been in the bear world a lot. We kind of gravitate towards the same sort of places, the same sort of music, the same sort of clothes to wear. There's a whole of influence that you have by growing up sort of in bear culture.
It's interesting that you only briefly talked about like physical things and then quickly went to behaviors, which is not what I would have expected. I thought you were going to describe a very specific body type and image and look that you both have lush full beards. So like you're matching some of my expectations of bears.
So the thing is, physically speaking, bears, there's a whole community. So you have bears, you have cubs, you have pandas, you have polar bears. You have otters, manatees, wolves. It's a fucking circus.
I've heard half of these things. I have not heard all of these things. What's a manatee?
A hairless bear.
So a manatee is a larger, very larger, hairless guy.
At what point do you just now we're describing any possible... Like, how is this... How do you distinguish someone in the bear community that is a manatee versus someone who's not a bear in the a manatee in the bear community?
They will tell you, but also their tells. So, for example, if you're in a gay bar and it's warm in there, so people will either take the shirt off and suddenly you will see whether they are hairless, or you have an indication. For example, if they have short sleeves, you can check whether they're hairy or not by their arm hair, whether they have hairy arms or not.
I love that
make assumptions.
I love that the hanky code for bears is purely based on hair. It's like flagging what you're into based on the hair, or like.
It's how you identify a manatee particularly, but then you have otters. So which ones have you heard of and which ones have you not?
Mike mentioned polar bears over message, and I didn't look it up because I just was going to guess that it was bears with gray hair.
Yeah. And you would be absolutely right.
Oh, great. Okay. Then I can kind of make assumptions about all these different groups. What's did you say wolf was one of them?
A wolf is a hairy and muscular. So it's not necessarily big as in fat, but it's a little bit of middle to big frame, but muscular.
But that's different to a muscle bear, isn't it?
A muscle bear is someone that is, the ones that participate like in the strongman competitions that are massive.
Yeah.
Those are muscle bears.
But it's kind of like they have a belly, they have quite a big stomach, but they kind of quite hench up top.
Yeah. I can picture, this is interesting. I wouldn't have been able to identify that myself, but I can think of the difference between those two types of people.
We get confused as well. It's a freaking circus. It's just like you see all of the animals parading, and we have a definition for each one of them.
That's hilarious. Oh, there to me is the assumption or stereotype that bears are fat, and is that like? Do you feel that? How do you feel about that? That seems kind of shitty thing to think about or say, but like
no. And actually, before we came here today, that was one of the things that I was thinking about. Whereas I think Ben has kind of embraced his bareness from a very young age. I think for me, it took me longer to get to that stage because when I was in my 20s, I would be quite comfortable with the notion that I was a cub, kind of not a slender otter. I mean, I've got wide shoulders. I'm never going to be slim. But then you kind of convince yourself, well, I'm a bit stocky. That's fine. I can still be attractive and call myself a cub. And then there's kind of this jump where you think, oh, actually, if I think of myself as a bear, that means I'm admitting that I'm basically obese.
Yeah.
And no one really wants to do that.
Yeah.
I know some people do. Really well own it, but there is that kind of thing where actually you think about being obese and you think, well, actually it's not healthy. I want to live a long and full life, so I'd rather be slimmer. But I think one of the things about the bear community is that you kind of then realise that there are other guys out there who are just going through the same kind of thing that you are, but at the same time they find you attractive exactly how you are, and there's kind of no questions asked in that sense.
Yeah, and I'm going to get a little bit on the history side of it, so this is probably the boring part of it. Initially, in the 70s, when the concept of the bear was first used, it wasn't used to refer to a body type. It was actually a matter of attitude. And a bear would be sort of the person who now it's a little bit of an updated concept, but was sort of the manlier, the butch gay, if you like. So it wasn't necessarily about being hairy, but hair or facial hair or body hair was associated with more masculine characteristics. And then it was slowly taken. And there's still a lot of divide in the gay community, in the bear community particularly, of whether a fat person is a bear, or do you need the attitude to go with it, or how all of these different traits of personality can either fit you, make you fit, or not fit into a community.
And when I was listening to your show, you talked about, for both of you, the ways you do and don't feel like you actually fit into the bear community. So I'm curious to hear, like, what ways do you feel like you don't totally fit in?
So I think physically I don't. I don't fit in. I think that is something that I struggled a lot when I was growing up, and all of the images that I saw of gay people when I was a teenager were all sort of very slim, muscular, sort of hairless men. When I started going out into the gay scene, I found myself that I wasn't hairy enough or big enough to be a bear. I wasn't hairy enough or slender enough to be a calf. I wasn't muscular to be a wolf. I wasn't an otter. I wasn't a manatee. I just didn't fit in any of those physical characteristics of a bear. But I felt myself sort of on more of the masculine side. I mean, that's not the case anymore.
I'm right there. I get you on that part.
But I felt, and also I think that I studied engineering. I worked in industry and manufacturing all of my professional career. So I was the first gay that a lot of my friends met. So I actually also felt a little bit of a responsibility to show my friends that being gay wasn't just about dancing naked during Pride in the middle of Buenos Aires.
But you do that anyway.
Yes. But at that time I didn't. At that time I was very, very sort of protective of the image that I portrayed to my straight friends.
Yeah.
In regards of that, gays can be manly.
So when I think of Ben and his career, I imagine it like that Simpsons episode, you know, where they go to the steel mill and it's like, we work hard, we play hard. You know,
Everybody dance now.
Is it like that?
No, it's not like that.
Oh man, don't ruin it for other future bears.
Oh, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of gay sex going on in industry.
Oh, great.
It just happens sort of in the middle of the night in sort of very in places that are not the greatest. What I will tell is that porn does lie to you. People who work in steel mills, they're not what you see in porn. Definitely not.
I don't know that I want to know this information. I think I want to hold on to my ideas. It's like fraternities. Like, don't tell me the truth. I just want to pretend like you have pillow fights and have to blow each other when you're pledging. You know?
Yeah.
Just let me have it.
If it's true in your heart, it's true, Kyle.
But there is something kind of still quite sexy about that high-vis, you know, uniform and the kind of heavy boots. Like, Ben went to work on an oil rig for a week, and literally as soon as he got Wi-Fi, I was like, "Send me a picture and whatever you're wearing."
Yeah.
This is the kind of oil rig that I'm down for.
The only benefit is that the overalls have a double zipper, so you can zip it down or you can zip it up from below. So for easy access.
And he had to like go for like a week to train how to like jump off the oil rig in case there was like an emergency or something. And I was like, that is so hot. Like when he'd ring me from his hotel on the night and he'd be like, yeah, we had to like get in a dinghy today and like throw ourselves off a cliff. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. You're so cool. And it was like, I had like a superhero.
Yeah, get in my dinghy.
Ben, what about you? Like, how did you feel about the gay community and the bear community, and like how you fit in or your place in it?
I think I'm a reluctant bear.
A reluctant bear is my new favorite phrase.
I identify as a bear as much as I identify as a man and a gay man. But I think for me, I've kind of always just kind of dipped my toes into the sort of bear community because it's quite full on. I mean, it's as with all kind of spectrums of you know, not just queer life, but any kind of life, it has its factions. It can be quite bitchy, and it can be all encompassing. And it's kind of, you need to be there, you need to be seen, you need to be, you need to be there at the rugby club, you need to be there at the quiz night, you need to be there on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. And it's like, actually, there's lots of other things that I want to do with my life, like. And both of us, I guess, we've got, a nice, great group of friends, and it is, gay, straight, and a sprinkling of everything in between. And I don't really want to say I am just doing what I want to do with the bear community, because there's so many things that I would close my life off to otherwise. And I suppose for me as well, I've got other passions as well. Like in the UK we call it a train spotter, but you guys would say a rail fan. So that's kind of like my big.
Would we?
Yeah, we wouldn't say either. So you left it.
I saw the movie Train Spotting.
No, not like.
Oh, no, like. So, what would you call someone that's weird? Basically, and like trains a lot.
Someone just recently, I think the nice way he said it is, "You're very interesting," and I was like, I know what you mean. Like, I get it, but.
Yeah,
you can say as well. You're very complex. That always hits us as well.
I love that.
But I think if I was to be full on bear and full on, it's like every weekend. It's like Bear Lake District weekend, Bear Scots, Bear Wales, Bear Cornwall, Bear London, and then they all go to Sitges for the summer, and then it's let's all go to California, and it's great, and we've met some brilliant people, and we've made some amazing friends, but it is a lot, and it's a commitment, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's very exclusive as well. I don't know. To be honest, I'm not sure how it works with other sort of communities within the gay world, but you kind of have to dress in a certain way and look a certain way. It's a very exclusive thing, and it can be very, very discriminatory. In that regard, if you're not butch enough, if you are a femme gay, if you don't dress like a lumberjack, you have all of these things. There's a level of exclusivity to it all as well.
That's so fascinating to me, because my perception is exactly the opposite. Like, I don't hang out with bears that often, but I do go to bear bars from time to time, and it always seems so welcoming and friendly and come as you are. Like it feels like there's less pressure to I don't know, be the hot shirtless hairless white six-packed gay.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting that you're saying on the inside of that community it's not that.
I think you're right. I think it's a very welcoming community. But let's be honest, in the gay community, who doesn't like fresh meat?
Yeah.
So you go to a bar, and you go to a bear bar, and you will get all of this attention. But to belong, there's all of these extra steps. I feel like you need to have like a police check, and something like a cavity search or something of the sort to be able to apply.
It's literally come as you are, asterisk. Like terms and conditions apply.
I feel like it's something where the chest is hairier on the other side of the fence. Like it looks from the outside, it's like, oh, there's this haven of people that don't judge each other and can have varying body types, and it's okay. But deep down, we're all still gay men.
Yeah.
And I think that for me as well, there was kind of another reason why I said reluctance earlier, is that there was this kind of uber, particularly in this country, an uber sort of masculine aura around the kind of bear community. And it's like, yeah, I drink beer, but I want to dance to the Spice Girls. Am I going to be able to do that in a bear club, knowing what the kind of music that they play in there, that everybody's going to be, and it's again, this is a stereotype, but it does happen, that there's a lot of leather, and you have to take your clothes off as soon as you get into the club and things like that. And if you don't go to the if you're not in the dark room, where are you? That kind of thing.
But it has to be said as well, I think that we have a lot of friends in the bear community that just the same way as we are sort of dip in and out of the community. And we do go to bear bars. We have loads of fun. I kind of feel like we're getting a very negative twist to it, but actually, it is a wonderful place. It is very open. I think that nowadays it's much more open than what it used to be. Nowadays, we are embracing the femme queens. We are embracing bears that look different, that dress different, that wear high heels, that sort of get out of these sort of preconceptions of what a bear sort of is supposed to be.
Yeah, glitter beards. I love glitter beards.
Exactly. So glitter beards, you love it until you have to take that glitter off your beard, and you go to work and suddenly your work shirt is all full of glitter. It stays on you for weeks.
We had a pride party about 3 weeks ago, and I'm still hoovering up the glitter from your face.
Yeah.
That's not a euphemism, by the way. That's genuine.
Don't tell me what it really is, because I like my image better.
I did want to ask you, and I'm worried that I'm asking you to divulge secrets that will get you drummed out of the bear community. Is there a secret bear anthem? Like, is there a song that is like the bear song?
Let's hear it for the bears. Let's give the bears some pizza.
So, and I think that's a question that we probably could do a whole episode of our podcast in sort of what would be sort of the bear anthem in Argentina and would be in the UK. I think there's a lesbian singer in Argentina, very, very famous, who did a version in Spanish of I Am What I Am. And the bear community historically has uptaken that as an anthem for years and years and years. Again, sort of trying to push back into this culture that used to tell us, well, you're too fat to be here. And I've heard that, but I've been told on Grindr when I was single, oh, you're too fat to be on Grindr. So anything that is acceptance, and of course the newer generations have very much taken Lady Gaga as their...
Is there anything else we didn't ask about the bear community that you think is important?
I still want to get them kicked out if we can. Like, what's the deep, dark bear secrets that we should know?
Yeah. How do we unlock the secrets of the bears?
How do we unlock the secret of the bears? So some of the secret of the bears, and again, I'm probably going to get a little bit too serious here, but there's a lot of internalized homophobia within the bear community. And I think it stems, and to be honest, it's fucked up pretty much a lot of my 20s, just because, again, you sort of go to all of these gay spaces where you're told that you don't fit in because you're fat, and then you find this space where you feel is like a haven for the bigger guys, for the fat guys, for the hairy guys, and so on. And I found in my 20s that they were just as bitchy and discriminatory as it was, as in any other gay space. I think there's a lot of repressed homophobia, and a lot of the sort of self-acceptance and I am what I am type thing is very, very not real.
You see, my experience is completely different, and I think that's probably because of where we grew up, in the sense that you grew up in a city, whereas, well, I mean, I grew up in a city, but I grew up in York, as in Old York, not New York, and we had one gay bar. There was, it was hilarious, this bar. I can't remember the name of it now, but in one corner you would literally have a stripper, and sort of down in the seats you would have some old men playing cards. Then some woman would come out and she'd do a meat raffle. And all this was going on. Seriously, it was called a navvy's breakfast. It was what the miners would eat before they went down to haul out the coal. And all this was happening concurrently with one another. So when I then moved to university, and I went to Birmingham, University of Birmingham, which is in the second largest city in the UK, and I remember phoning my friend from home and being like, "You're never going to believe this." You were like, there is gay people of all different colours, all different religions, all different shapes and sizes, and I was literally like a child in a sweet shop. So for me, and literally just picking the best candy that I could, or whatever candy would come near me. So for me, it was completely different. I just found it really embracing, and I think that's eventually how I kind of came on board to the whole bear thing, because I was like, actually, I found my tribe.
But if you want some of the bear deadly sins, fashion sense is one. We're very uniform people. You can have the lumberjack look, or sort of the jeans and a nice t-shirt. It's like wearing shirts other than a lumberjack shirt is not really allowed. So having a fashion sense that deviates from that is one of the deadly sins. Shaving, with the exception of your genital area, is also forbidden. The hairier the bum, the better.
Okay.
Does it include like trimming?
There's a lot of bears that trim now, yeah. So, but no shaving. Trim you can, but shaving, no. You'll be expelled from the community before you can turn your razor off.
Well, this is what I'm about to say is probably going to get us kicked out, because I'm very hairy. I've got a very hairy chest, which I'm fine with. I completely own it. I love the fact that I've got a hairy chest. But it also means that it kind of goes the other way and I have a hairy back. And I don't know what it is, but I don't like having a hairy back. So I have it shaved.
Oh.
by you.
Yeah, basically it means I shave his back. But yeah, that's going to get us kicked out.
Yeah. Do you keep that secret from the other bears? Do you just like, this is just how?
Well, I mean, we've told you now, so that we're literally out of the closet.
Yeah, dozens of people know now.
Yeah, tens of bears now know.
And you have to like techno music as well.
Really?
Huh.
Yeah. Oh, they love it. Anything with a boom, boom, it goes on for about 5 hours. And I'm like, if it was a 12-inch mix, if this is going to be Donna Summer in a minute. No, it's not. It's literally just that for like 5 years.
Tell me more about the 12-inch mix.
Yeah, I'm fine with anything that's 12 inches.
I love a 12-inch mix.
Ben definitely loves a 12-inch.
Wait, what is that though? Seriously,
I don't know what that is.
So in the 70s, you would have like a 7-inch single, and you'd have a 12-inch single, and the 12-inch single, the vinyl, would have a sort of longer version of the single edit, if you like.
Yeah.
It just goes on forever. It's something that we often fight about.
Yeah.
It just goes on forever. This song needs to finish now.
I said that to my last hookup.
You need to finish.
Yeah, this is basically like a 12-inch mix, and I need you to finish at some point.
But I think with any community, I think we are very lucky in that we have made some incredible friends by being a part of the bear scene, in the sense that I think about when we moved house and how grateful people were with giving us furniture and lending us things, offering to come and help. And, it's in this, we don't go to church. We're not part of a sort of community club or anything like that. And I think that's probably as close as we're going to get, apart from the neighbours and our friends and family. There's something really, really nice knowing that there are other people out there who've gone through the same thing that you've gone through, and they're still going through that. And they're always kind of there to help, really. And I think that is quite comforting. And I think if, of all the other stuff that we've talked about, for me, that's the most humbling about being part of the bear community.
Yeah, it is. When you make friends, you make very strong friendships. I think that being part of the bear community means that you have a lot of shared experiences.
Well, you all slept with each other
as well.
Lots of shared experiences.
Lots of shared experiences. I know after we go out and Ben will meet somebody and I'll be like, have you with him? And he'll be like, well, actually, this one is one that I haven't. Oh, no, actually, yeah, we did do something like round the back of a club. And I'm like making notes in my book, like, right, they're not coming to the wedding.
But we never agreed in terms of what makes it count as being with. That's like a cheeky wank count. Does oral count?
How can a wank be cheeky? It's either a wank or not a wank. It's not like a cheeky one, like, oops, I wanked them off. Oh dear.
It does happen.
Probably depends on where they come.
Yeah.
On your cheeks or elsewhere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay,
that's the cheeky cum. Mike, do you have anything else that?
No, I don't think so. Left Ben and right Ben, thank you so much for being on. Really appreciate having you. If people want to know more about your show, Bareback, where should they go? What should they do? Tell us your socials, that kind of stuff.
So they can listen us on Acast, Spotify, Apple Music, and any podcast means. And then our Instagram is at Bareback Podcast.
And we're on Twitter at BarebackPod.
You know when you do your socials and suddenly you can't make it match because someone has it on one media and the other. So
Yep.
It does happen.
And I think we're BarebackPod, /BarebackPod on Facebook, or you can just search for us.
It's just bareback on.
Oh, I don't know.
And and it's bear like rawr, not bear like naked, because that's another cheeky jizz shot. Yeah.
And the thing is two bears looking back. So there's no double entendre there. It's just two bears looking back into their lives.
I know we do get a lot of like thirsty bears who are like, where's the porn? When are you gonna, when? And it's like, no, it's a podcast for a start. Yeah, no visuals yet.
Can you imagine how podcasts are like going Oh wait, you need to do it bear. It's like
Can I just say those are not the noises that he usually makes?
Oh.
Again, I would prefer the lie over the truth.
Oh, they're better. They're actually better.
Oh, okay.
That was a bit glottal. Like you were, yeah.
Okay.
That's me.
Sounds like a French bear. No.
Well, Ben and Ben, thank you so much for being on. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys for having us. It's been so much fun.
Yeah.
We've been listening to you for quite a while, so it was really, really.
We're standing now. We're standing.
Oh.
Fangirling here. Fan bearing.
Yes.
Well, I think that says more about your taste than anything else.
Well, I'm a train spotter. I've already told you that.
Thanks again for being on. Really appreciate it.
Mike, are we going to take a break ever?
We're going to. Oh yeah, we're going to take a break.
Okay,
let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
Find some honey.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
So are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
What a delightful conversation.
Yeah. Those were some bears.
Those rar indeed. BEHHHHR.
Yep.
But now, let's get deeper into bears.
Let's do it. Let's dive face first into that honeypot.
There was a big, poo. I don't know. There was a discussion on the Facebook group about what nose blasting meant.
Oh yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Especially since
there were differing results.
Yes.
And I almost don't want to say any more on here.
I feel like we covered it.
I thought so.
Yeah.
But apparently not.
Apparently not.
Okay. Let's nose blast some bears.
Let's nose blast some bears.
What's up?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about the history of bears.
We learned a tiny bit, a little smidgen. But yeah, let's go deeper.
Yeah, they talked about the history of bears. It turns out that there is a controversy about
Why do I love that sign? It's horrible and great.
Yeah, about the origin of the term bear, meaning a hairy, larger, gay man. So there are two main camps here. One is that Richard Bulger and Chris Nelson.
Richard Bulger.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. The founders of Bear Magazine.
Oh.
Coined and popularized that term. Now, Bear Magazine was founded in 1987, and it really is likely what made that the most mainstream in gay male culture. I mean, they really were the ones that sort of started to really codify bear culture and what being a bear means, and got a lot of all of these events going and advertising and like glossy pictures of what we think of as bears in, nude posts, photography posts. Yeah.
Back on Facebook in the 80s.
Yeah, remember when Instagram posts were called magazines? The Advocate, the magazine, The Advocate, which is still around, in 2014 ran an article called #TBT, Throwback Thursday, when the Advocate invented bears.
Oh.
So they say, so there was an article on July 26th of 1979 in the Advocate, which we've actually talked about before on the show.
I definitely remember, but for our audience, what?
It was written by George Mazzei, and the article was called Who's Who at the Zoo. And it was illustrated by cartoonist Gerard Donnellan, and the article talked about all of what at the time were the categories of animals that gay men fit into, with descriptions and like a field guide of how to recognize them.
I was just thinking, this sounds like someone who's like doing some bird watching, like check off all the animals in the gay kingdom.
Yep, that's absolutely true. So I'll read this from the article. There seems to be some discussion about, quote, there seems to be some discussion about who actually coined the term bear as a descriptive for some gay men. Some claim it was Richard Bulger, who, along with his then partner Chris Nelson, 1960 to 2006, founded Bear magazine in 1987. Nope, it was us. Bulger and Nelson were smart enough to make a cottage industry of it. Arguably, the first usage was by George Mazzei in his article Who's Who at the Zoo, July 26, 1979 issue of The Advocate. And so that's pretty definitive. I mean, I don't know if it's just because you say it's so doesn't mean that it's so.
Yeah, the source of that being themselves is questionable.
Yep. I kind of like the in print. Nope, it was us. That's pretty great.
I mean, this is like, certain things. It's like if you have it written down, it's like, well, prove that you said it before this, and who has it written down anywhere? Are there bear journals somewhere that someone wrote it down before that? Like,
right.
The Advocate didn't coin it because somehow he heard of that word, or did he just purely make up animals from the top? He just decided that bears were going to be a thing.
Well, okay, so it's interesting. Let's the categories in that article in 1979 were bear, which I'm going to read the whole thing. Ooh. So we can break it down and talk about how it's changed and that kind of thing. But the other options aren't the ones that we think of or have today. Owls. So. Yeah, hoot. You're funny. Older gay animals. Cygnet swans as being elegant, beautiful, cultivate perfect bodies, and cheap swank. Peaks and Afghans, which like dogs, but like the dogs with the long flowy coat.
Oh,
yeah. It says, quote, they usually come from the Confederate States. They have tawny bodies and large amounts of tawny hair that is arranged to fall over the eyes. I guess they look like the Bee Gees. I don't know. Gazelles, which are the hyperactive twinks, I think is basically what they're getting after there. Pussycats. They look like bears, but pussycats have dry wit on top of that.
I thought it was going to be gay trans men.
Maybe. Oh, God. Marmosets is the last one. And marmosets, which under what they eat, it says white wine.
Okay, this maybe he did make up a field guide for funsies.
Yeah, and so... But I agree with you that it's unlikely that bear as a classification was invented by him. The thing that I don't know how to answer that I think is really interesting is, were the ones that I just read originally well known? And he was just cataloging all of the things that people were saying at the time. How much of this was his own invention?
Yeah.
And trying to make a thing happen? There are lots of, despite who printed what first, it definitely had become a part of San Francisco gay male culture in the 1970s, well before this Advocate article in 1979. It's just a question of, can you prove it?
Yeah. Which came first, the bear or the bear article?
Yeah. Yeah. So can I read through the field guide here?
Yeah.
For a bear in 1979. Bears are usually hunky, chunky types reminiscent of railroad engineers and former football greats. They have larger chests and bellies than average and notably muscular legs. Some Italian-American bears, however, are leaner and smaller. It's attitude that makes a bear, which is something that we heard the Bens say.
Yeah.
General characteristics, hair. Their tangled beards often present no discernible place to insert a comb. Laughter. Bears laugh a lot and are generally good-natured. They make wonderful companions since they are prone to reach for the check.
Oh, I thought definitely the more prone, the better for companionship.
Hairy prone companion. Do you remember that podcast? Let's see. Buy the next round and keep abreast of when the Trocadero is dancing this season, whatever the fuck that is. Their good humor can turn threatening if you attempt to cruise their trick, and you will hear about it for weeks afterward. What they eat? Beer is their favorite food. When they stay out past their hibernation time on weeknights, their lower bear nature takes over, and they drink more scotch and water than is good for them. Then they will often perform hilariously, trying to dance in time to the disco beat, providing amusement for all around. Mating peculiarities. Before asking you home, bears ascertain that you will stay and cuddle all night, even if nothing else happens. They may wear full leather at all times, but bears are usually not kinky. They are fascinated by nipples, others as well as their own, and spend hours playing with them. Bears always have lovers to whom they are loyal, even though they don't sleep together much anymore.
Wow. I wouldn't have expected that.
Domestic rating. Bears are wonderful around the house since they don't need much exercise to keep their distinctive shape and are extremely loving, loyal, and dependable. The most affable of pets, they do require constant reassurance and, like some large dogs, tend to shed on the furniture. I mean, a lot of that applied, but some of it didn't.
Yeah. I mean, when I get to my stuff, I have information about the current bears, so we can compare and contrast when we get there.
Okay, do you want to do that now?
Oh, sure. Are you?
Maybe I will finish up this history thing because it won't take that long.
Spell finish.
Yeah. However, it's not the first time that bear has been used to refer to humans. And I hereby announce that it's my people that invented bears. And by my people, I mean Norwegians. So 23andMe says I'm a quarter Norwegian, so fucking deal with it.
Great.
In the Old Norse, berserkers were those who were said to have fought in a trance-like fury. But it turns out, have you heard of a berserker before?
Only because my barbarian had a berserk.
In Dungeons and Dragons? Mm-hmm. Yeah. But berserker as this character that just like loses their shit and goes fucking bananas in battle.
Yeah. I've heard
that comes from Old Norse. And it turns out that berserker likely means bear shirt. The berserker, the burr part of berserker is from bear, and shirk meaning shirt. And
why would it be a bear shirt?
Well, so apparently it was someone who wore a coat made out of a bear's skin.
Oh.
And that they went into battle without armor. Like that's what they wore.
Just the bear shit.
They wore a bear into battle. It's also interesting that there were other kinds of berserkers. There were the bear warriors, but there were also wolf warriors and boar warriors, and they all kind of had their own thing in different places that they existed and different things that they did.
The boar warriors just talked you to death.
Yeah, I think this is true. Just like me, Kyle. I'm a boar warrior. Anyway, it's also been suggested that berserkers' behavior inspired the legend of werewolves and other lycanthropes. And so, yeah. It didn't start with gay guys.
Oh, yeah. Take that, The Advocate. That's we're starting some fights. We'll take a firm stance against The Advocate, too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Current, I'm going to tell you, it's not exactly, there's a little bit of datums in here. This is...
Datai?
Datai? I think that's a bunch of the character data. I think that's a group, a collective of data.
Oh, like in the holodeck?
Yeah, I don't know why I even said that. There's the picture.
Yep. It's looking at you.
Sit and reflect on them.
Riker's pixelated cock is staring you right in the face.
Yeah, I was trying to remember his name and I couldn't. Okay, this is from a literature review of health risks in the bear community, a gay subculture.
Okay.
This is the best review of bear studies that I could find.
Great.
By Narcisco Quidley Rodriguez and Joseph P. DeSantis. I might have gotten those right. And this was published in the American Journal of Men's Health in 2017.
Oh, that's fairly recently. Okay.
Yeah. I think they did the research in 2015, but yeah, still very recent. They indicated, like a lot of things, the research was still, there's not a lot of research into this. There's a lot of limitations to the research that's available. For example, it's mostly white people that they survey. It's mostly like going to locations, like they were like, they're hard to find. So like any small population, like it, you know, well, who's out at the club right then? That's a very skewed sample. They said some of the sampling used snowball sampling, which I don't know what it is, but
you know,
but I know. I do some snowball sampling here and there.
From bears?
Whomever. What percentage of the gay community do you think is bears?
Some more flying in now. So
we're actually recording this during like Bear Weekend in P-Town. Like, there's like several bear events happening this weekend. It will have been in the past for y'all, but
I just don't want to go to that ever because I don't like water sports.
Is that a big part of the bear community?
No, it's P-Town. I don't want to go to P-Town because.
I'm so sorry I missed that.
Great. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
What percentage of the gay community?
18.
Ooh. The range they gave is 14 to 22%.
Fucking nailed it, Kyle.
Yeah, that was great. I thought that was high. I did not know that many, up to a fifth of the community's bears. Like I would not have expected that.
Was that self-identification?
Sure.
I mean, it's problematic if they go to a club and they're like, "You're a bear, you're a bear, you're a bear, you're a bear." But like
the way you're doing that hand motion right now looks like you're scanning them with something, like scanning up and down. I was like, "Confirmed bear."
My bearometer detected them. But I do wonder about like
barometer.
Okay. I wonder about like. There is no objective definition, I don't think, and that would be like part of the problematic nature of this research. But there are lots of people that I would call a bear, but they don't think about themselves that way, and so that's It's like asking a woman if she's pregnant. Like, just don't. Don't.
A lot of the, I don't remember. I didn't see if that percentage came from self-identification, but a lot of the studies specifically refer to self-identified bears. Mm-hmm. So that seemed to be the default for most of the individual studies that comprise this review of literature. They did some of the things that this review pulled out and said seem to be typical traits of bears. Higher BMI, which we know BMI is like not a great measure, but it's just what everyone uses, which kind of sucks. And I thought this was interesting and fitting. Bears were not receptive to healthcare providers who delivered a rote, untailored message about the importance of losing weight.
Sure.
It is... and this, so much of this is funny to me. Healthcare providers needed to give culturally sensitive or bear-specific information about weight without judgment. You're talking to a culture of people where weight is a really important topic to them.
Yeah.
It's part of both the pride of we are not your stereotypical gay person, but also it's important in the community. Like this is such a big deal, and so to jump into as a healthcare provider and have no idea about that, you're jumping into a topic that you are not equipped to talk unless you know some bears.
I'm a little nervous about this. I'll ask him if it's okay.
Okay.
I know of at least 2 bears who lost a significant amount of weight and then were basically drummed out of bear culture, like received, a unwelcome reaction to that. But I think that's kind of scary, right? In a way, like if a doctor legit has concerns about your weight because you are experiencing health problems as a result of it, and you need to do something about that, and you have to choose between your friends and your chosen family in that community or your health, because you'll get fucking drummed out if you undergo this medically necessary procedure or plan. That's a fucked up thing to have to decide.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me of, even talking to the Bens, like reminds me of being in the gay community. You think, oh, I'm LGBT, great. They're so accepting. Like, now I'm now I'll be totally fine. And then you come to realize, like, oh, racism still sucks, and like transphobia, like all these layers that you didn't expect. That seems similar to then, even though it's a subset of the LGBT community, like in the bear community, it seems like we think from the outside, which you even said, it looks like from the outside they're very body positive and accepting. And so if the point, though, of them is we don't look like the stereotypical gay, twink or jacked dude, if you lose weight, are you trying to violate a core tenet of their entire community?
Yeah.
And I'm not justifying it. I'm, trying to understand why there would be so much judgment instead of, just like the LGBT community being more accepting of just everyone's individual journey and self-identification and what have you.
But then how will you know how to hate yourself?
Oh, speaking of,
great.
Bears were found to have lower self-esteem.
Really?
Yeah.
The ones I know are so sassy.
But is that on the outside or on the inside? Is their soul sassy?
The clown is laughing on the outside but crying on the inside.
Yeah.
That's really horrible. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They are no more or less hypermasculine than non-bears. Which that surprised me.
By what measure?
The mask measure, the Richter scale of masculinity.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. Throughout this,
the mask spectrometer is my
yes.
is the best I can do.
I couldn't come up with anything clever. So I tried to impress you that I know what the Richter scale is. That's about all I did.
The Andy Richter scale. He's probably a bear too. Yeah, or would be.
That's true. That's all interesting information. But the best part about reading this is just some of the lines that you get from reading about bears is... I'm going to read some of my favorite lines about bears.
Let's do it.
Let's
do some lines.
Let's do some lines for the bears. Researchers have used several ways to engage the bear community.
Okay.
They tried to acquire a diverse sample of bears.
Okay.
Bears have developed a unique language. These are all just individual lines I pulled out because I thought they were funny. Bears have developed a unique language. Bears may feel more comfortable speaking to other bears. Girth might attract bears.
Well,
that's a direct quote.
Yeah.
Regional bear clubs allow bears to congregate for monthly gatherings. Bring in all the bears.
Like their migration patterns.
Exactly. And my favorite one, bears are intensely sexual.
Ooh.
Right? They seem to be more sexual and willing to do more kinky shit than non-bears. I will say I've been aggressively hit on by bears before, and they are not subtle about it. That's just, they're very, there's none of this furtive glances across the bar, and then maybe we'll stand next to each other in line for the bathroom and then not talk. There's none of that. Me pretending that I'm looking back at my dog and watching him when instead I'm looking at the gays that just passed me. Yep, exactly. And never seeing them or saying anything. Yeah, exactly. The research and studies that I read about bears just were very funny in how they described the bear community. Because, I mean, they have to. There's no way around it. But I highly enjoyed it. Yeah. The last thing, I just completely... you have feelings about bears? Oh, honestly, this is the feelings part. Okay. Personally, has anyone ever said you're a bear? Do you ever feel any connection personally to the bear community, or what is your bear relationship? Oh, this is going to get us kicked off the air, Kyle. Great. I mean, at my heaviest, I was 245 pounds at 5'11", and there was some very I need to maybe I'll try being a bear so that I can feel attractive. Mm-hmm. I'm going to combat this horrible feeling I have about myself and my body by just fucking diving in and gaining more weight instead of doing the opposite, and then finding a place that will love me. Yeah. And I ended up not doing that and lost a fuck ton of weight over the last year, but you'd need so many merkins all over your body for that. What? Americans? Merkin is like a wig for your pubes.
Oh.
It's like a pubic wig.
Oh. Yeah. But apparently, I mean, a manatee is a thing. I could be a manatee.
Oh, that's true. Oh, that's yeah.
Not anymore, but
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a certain amount of appeal to that. Of like maybe we'll just rush to the big bare arms of the community and
Yeah.
And the I don't know. It's hard to yeah. I'm having feelings. Sorry.
That's the same. So I will say what is you're not supposed to say is someone has said I'm a bear, or multiple people have like called me that, and I have very negative reactions to that. I'm hairier, so like there's other explanations in my mind of why, and I'm tall, broad-shouldered, so there are some things that I can say that don't make me feel bad about myself, but I better or for worse, this is how I feel, so shut up. Like it feels like they are calling me fat. And I like we learned, there are many types of bears, and you know, they may not have intended that, blah blah blah, but like there's a certain way I receive that, and because of my body image issues that's why it's touching at my pre-existing very deep body image issues. That's the only thing I hear from that, and I have very negative reactions to that, and very resistant of it. Like I feel like I've been in a similar place as you, and instead of the idea of diving in, I'm like, no, I need to completely reject this. Like my reaction was the opposite of yours,
Sure.
but for similar reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I get the appeal of like, there's a community that's totally fine with the way I look, and that's a nice idea.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would be admitting something about myself that makes me very uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And is that why it's, like I said, I made the joke about the pregnant lady, like never ask a woman if she's pregnant, like never ask a gay if they're a bear. I think because there is this landmine there, like you let them tell you.
Yeah.
Because that says something about their self-acceptance of where they're at, and not only their identity, but also their feelings about their own body, right?
Yeah.
And
it's like, I mean, I think it's also like asking someone if they're trans, or asking people what race they are. Like they're out of context. It's like, you meant something by that.
Yeah.
If I'm at a bear party, if there's some context for it that is nameable, that is external and nameable. If we were talking with Ben and Ben, they didn't ask, but if they said, do either of you consider yourself bears? Like there's context for that conversation that makes sense, and I feel comfortable saying yes or no.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just say it out of the blue, it feels like they are not asking, they are telling you how they perceive you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not always a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Which I wanted to talk about, and you know, I'm sure I didn't say it in the right way, but I also want to like explain how I feel about the feelings that come up along with the bear community. It's just so, this has happened, and I've had such big feelings about it. And we talk about bears, like this is what comes up for me when I think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. And you're just speaking for you. I mean, I think.
Yeah, I haven't yet said all bears are fat and gross, so I think I'm good so far.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me, too, that like we have all of these powerful messages about what is attractive, and it's the vast majority of references in culture and in gay culture seem to be the white, six-packed, hairless, jacked guy.
Yeah.
But there's legit people who are not into that.
Yeah.
Like they are, like Honey Bouquet is not into that.
Yeah.
Like,
she has a very specific type, and it is hefty all over. It is a bear. It like,
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hashtag gut slut.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's, it's really interesting. And you have no, I say it a lot.
Yeah.
You have no idea what somebody's into. Yeah. You really don't. So it's okay to just presume that it might be you if they're talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. And, believing people, if they say they're into you, believing that, including if they show you with their actions, and if you don't believe them based on what they say or do, which is me, that speaks more to you than them. And I mean, I understand why and haven't figured it out or worked through it all, but
yeah. You okay?
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about like how some of these things make sense. Like when you talk about self-esteem, like I think it would be, it would make sense if other, like if bears did have these, okay, let me try to reclaim this or be positive about this or make it into a community, but deep down there are some body image issues. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes sense to me when people like, I think we're getting better at posting more diverse images, not just including race, but other characteristics as well in the gay community. But if you post a picture of a bear, it seems to be always, it's not just here's a hot dude. It's like, here's a body positivity post. Like it seems like so many of them are intentionally, it's not just here's a hot dude. It's body positivity and look at like, this is attractive too. You know, it's always coming from that point of view, which says more about like that we're not there yet, you know?
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely.
Yeah. We have more to do.
More bears to do.
More bear. Hey everyone, fuck a bear. You can accept bears into your heart and butt.
But not a bio bear. That's a good way to die.
See our Patreon segment about Mr. Hands.
Yeah, right.
Not a bear, but
speaking of Patreon, we're gonna hear from Ben and Ben and their saga of being at a Japanese bear bar.
They had a couple different, and in Russia, they had a couple different bear bar experiences, and we'll hear about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Bear bar could also be like a work, bar, like the exercise thing, but only for bears. Like the bar, but bears. The bar is very low to the ground, so you can bend your leg up and actually get there.
Yeah. The bear method?
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Should we take a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break.
All right. Are we back?
We're back.
We're back.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our Gayest and Straightest, but first, our website is gayishpodcast.com.
Wait, I meant to interrupt you before that
Sure.
to say I was looking at if these ovaries could talk, like just their feed and updates. Our friends over there, they have been
the ovaries,
the ovary ladies. They've been first of all, they've been killing it on their podcast, so they've been doing awesome. Also, there's a lot of baby news that they have. Robin's partner's having a baby soon. So. Because this is not always so Robin is also having a baby. People don't always Jamie is adopting her kids. Like there's a lot of like child related developments on them. So congrats to both of them for all the children and babies that are involved in your life.
Yeah, they're probably too busy to keep running in the podcast awards. We should get them to drop out and focus on that.
Oh no, I already saw them post about it. Oh. They're already on it, so we need to get on it too. Oh, speaking of which, if you want to vote for the podcasting award, go to
podcastawards.com.
Great.
And click the big blue button.
Giant button.
Okay. We need your votes. Please vote for us.
We've never won I don't. I will be positive. We'll win someday.
Not today. Okay.
Yes. Website is Gayish. All of our social media is at Gayish Podcast. We are on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails, is 5855-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply.
Our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
And our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. And we got some stuff.
I saw this when I was here, I think for an unrelated thing or something. And
we actually hang out sometimes, not on the show.
I think we try not to talk about the podcast too much on times where we're like just hanging out. But we don't do great. Anyway, I saw these. Yes, Joe and Dallas sent
us a pride pack, and then I didn't get to it fast enough, and I feel bad.
No, we're gonna pretend like this is to help cure our pride hangover blues.
Okay.
Like pride is every month, so this is helping keep the magic alive.
All right. Okay. Well, that's
have you
a sack and a box. So
have you already opened these? Oh, you have.
Like I said, I opened them so that we don't have to like open
all
them.
The ruffling.
Yeah.
Oh, this is some underwear. This is, I would assume, a jockstrap.
Rainbow socks.
Oh, those are so cute.
These say Pride on them.
Oh,
with
and they
little
have rainbows at the end. Are these?
These are Captain Kirk's crew socks.
Do you think those are for me?
Oh, and
more Star Trek shit. Great.
Oh, this says sorry, no data. He looked for data socks.
He wrote on there himself. The jock straps we got are, they say Poppy on them.
Mm-hmm.
And there are two, I presume, one for each of us. Oh, this one has like a little flannel kind of. I love that one. Wow, this jockstrap has a large
Good
crotchal
Lord.
area that I don't know that I could fill out.
Picard socks.
Jesus. I mean, thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
What's in the sack?
Oh no.
What's in the bags?
Oh, nail polish. I bet I know who that's for.
Oh my God! This is the color of the sparkles you put on the sprinkles you put on top of a cake. This is beautiful.
They say Dan on them. Cookie Monster socks. Well, thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
You're so sweet.
So much rainbow, and we'll get Dana shit when he's Dana's on assignment.
Dan is on assignment.
Do you want to do our Gayest and Straightest?
Sure, let's do our Gayest and Straightest.
I will go. My straightest is cutting my dog Reynolds' hair because it was just getting so long, and like the appointments to try to like are so far out, and I had to reschedule multiple times. So I was just like, I took some scissors to his hair.
Yeah.
So it's I'd say his hair is now a modern art piece. It's asymmetrical and really interpretive hairstyling that I did because I just was like, I just need to make it shorter. And like at first I was trying to, do the haircut thing where you like put it through your fingers and then I was just like, I'll eyeball it and ballpark it.
Do you think the other dogs make fun of him because mommy cut his hair?
We're still enough in the COVID that people cutting each other's hair is okay, I think. Yeah. But, eventually. My Gayest, I'm pulling this from pull back from a few weeks ago, but I thought it was very worthy. A friend was picking me up and texted me and said, we'll be in the Mazda 3. And I went on the internet and typed Mazda 3 to look up what that is. I have no fucking clue what that means.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What about you?
What about me? So the gayest thing about me this week is Blueberry Truly. I keep drinking them.
They're so bad.
You hate them.
They're the worst of the fruit pack.
But they only have a carb in them, or
but
two
don't
carbs
the others?
in them.
But the others do too, right?
Probably too. Yeah, that's true.
They're just the worst.
The thing is, I don't like sweet things, and I know that makes us very different people. But they're just like not overpoweringly sweet. But you still get a little kind of a fruit kick to it. Anyway, just they're keto, or as close to, you're not supposed to drink on keto, but like they're keto enough that they're a better choice.
Yeah.
And Madison Pub here in Seattle has them, and I just hand over fist give me all the Blueberry Truly, and that just seems really gay. And then, like I said to you a little bit ago, for reasons I do not understand, in my notes, my straightest for the week is just the letter B. Something got deleted somewhere. So then I had to come up with something, and that is, my fridge is chock full of just gross leftovers. Like, there are some pieces of Tupperware in there that have been in there for weeks, and I am terrified to open them and get rid of them.
I just did my, when you buy fruits and vegetables, you're going to be throwing out half of them eventually because, I just did my, I bought a bunch of stuff that just shouldn't have existed that long.
Yep.
I get you.
And now a listener's Gayest and Straightest, which this comes to us from Discord.
We have links to our Discord on our website and in the Facebook group pinned to the top.
Yep, we sure do.
And here it goes right about.
Great. This one comes to us from Alan J on Discord. Straightest, was too lazy to go shit when I had a sore tummy, so held it in. Felt fine, but moved on my bed and poop came out, which was barely kept from my shorts by my bum cheeks.
That is an extensive description of
a journey.
That was a journey, and I'm here for it because we all need to be honest about our bodies and our tummies.
And who knows, you might have just made Big Fatty's Shark Week.
Oh, does Big Fatty get this far in the episode? Who really does?
People let him know.
Okay.
He has
spies.
He has spies.
Santa Claus is all over the mall.
Anyway, Gayest, reminding myself that even though the heat wave makes me feel like a sweaty pig, it means plenty of men will be out in shorts and sandals.
Oh.
Devil emoji.
Okay, I have a thing where like people are like, oh, sorry, I'm sweaty. I'm like, no, I'm into that.
Oh.
That's fine.
Okay.
In fact, if you come from the gym, that's even better.
Wow.
Yeah. Just me?
I know it's not just you. Fucking Dan is totally in that camp. There's like at Pride 48 when we went to New Orleans, and there's that one bar where you're not supposed to wear perfume and no deodorant is preferred in fucking New Orleans. With like some, like I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not me. You take a shower and you smell good, or that's like you're gonna go.
Sweating community, email Mike. Go ahead, and he says he hates you.
Yeah,
almost as much as the Irish.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, there's nothing worse than a sweaty Irishman, Kyle. Speaking of Pride 48, the live stream is going to be on Sunday, July the 25th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. We will be at pride48.com. We are in the middle of a 3-day schedule of tons of queer podcasts. Feel free to catch as much or as little of it as you can.
They also have like a separate chat, which you can find a link to on their website, that people will be chatting during the recording. So lots of fun.
Yeah, it is fun. It is super fun.
Yeah. Is that? Oh, I
haven't confirmed this yet, but I also am going to probably be reading gay erotic fiction with Donna Sugars on late night Saturday night of Pride 48 weekend, the 24th.
On Donna Sugars' podcast.
Well, she's doing a special spin-off podcast of erotica. To like do, it's like a late night, like a Pride 48 after dark kind of a thing.
Oh, nice. That's hilarious. So if you like Mike's voice, if you're a person that listens, basically, check that out. I want to thank our super Gap Bridgers.
Yeah, do it.
I just did.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't write them down.
Also, thank you to Ben and Ben from the Bareback podcast for being on. We really appreciated talking to them.
Are the super Gap Bridgers going to get angry at me that I didn't read their full names? I'll cut it from another episode. No, I won't. Thank you, Super Gap Bridgers. I'll read your names twice next time. Thank you to James Barrow for requesting this bear topic. We really appreciate it. Hopefully we did it to your satisfaction. Leave a comment card in the box, and that's it.
That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Gets. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you.
See you next week.
Bye.
For the bare necessities. Bare necessities.
I mean, we had to, right?
Yeah, we did.